Welcome to a new video on my channel, and this is going to be a real mix of mailbag stuff. These are just random stuff that I ordered in the last sort of like month, and some of them are quite interesting and some of them will end up being some future projects. So I thought I'm going to share you. And before I go into the details, I discovered something in Aliexpress. I'm not really sure if it's a new feature or not. And I mean, mostly I do my purchases on my computer, so I'm not really using my phone. But I noticed this, this coin feature. So if you go to the coins, you can collect these sort of coins, and then here you can buy also some products cheaper because some of them will be paid by coins, and these seem to be, selected based on your previous searches. So I bought some LED ring lights and I bought chargers, so these things coming up, and also I have a ham radio. But also if you come back to the main page, I found this thing which says free items for $199 US. So I was looking through these, and this is where I found some of these products. And when I'm going to show you the listing, so for example, you can see these two lights here, or this notepad. So I'm going to include the pictures of the actual listing, but I found them here where they are selling cheaper than the actual listing. So if you want something similar, you can look it up, and then you can see that you can see a lot of stuff for $199 or $299, which is definitely cheaper than if you would buy it in a proper listing. The only thing is you have to buy 3 products here. But I'm already seeing 12-volt power supply for $399 looks good. So I guess these are like heavily discounted stuff that they are selling here. Okay, but let's get on with the actual products, and I think I'm going to look at these discounted one first. So maybe let me take this one, this bigger one. I have seen these things for many years, and these kind of notepad things where I actually don't know how they work, but they have a delete button and that just erases, and then you can just draw on it, and then it stays on and it runs on a battery, which I don't know what it does, but obviously it doesn't need backlight. It's probably a little bit less contrasty as you would imagine from the listing, but still works fine. You maybe put it on your bridge, you can take notes, and then just use this instead of paper that you will throw out. Yeah, I think that was probably $299. I thought I'm going to give it a try. The kids love it, scribble on it and then delete it. So it's not that bad. So that was one of these special items. And the next was these 2 lights. And so both of them are battery powered, and both of them are sort of these multi-tools. So they have a thing here to open bottles, and this has a couple of things here that you can put in, like you can use it as a wrench, a spike here to break glass, and of course they clip on like a lanyard or your buckle belt. And they have a couple of functions, and well, this one has a magnet on the one side and this one has a couple of screws. So and definitely this main thingy is some sort of fine Chinesium metal. It's definitely metal because it feels cold. Probably some sort of cheap grade aluminum, so probably it's not going to last long, especially if you want to use it for screwdrivers. But I guess for occasional use it's fine, and it's small, and I'm already using this like if I need to go out to the garden in the evening, and it's easier to bring this than my phone, and definitely it has more brightness than the phone. So let's look at the smaller one. Yeah, so this has the clip here and the bottle opener, and it has a magnet, and you can also swing this arm part, so maybe you can prop it up. And it also has a clip, so you can put it on your cap, and then you can have it, so you can clip it this part on your cap, and then you can just have it just above your eyes to illuminate whatever you're looking. So I think it's good. There is a USB-C port on the side, so not micro USB, but finally USB-C. None of these support PD charging, so you have to have like an old style USB-A to USB-C cable, and there is a button. And then it has a couple of modes. So this is high beam white light, there is low intensity white light, and then there is red, and then flashing red, and then it switches off. Unfortunately, this one you always have to cycle through the modes. I can't understand why they, these Chinese sellers don't implement this simple function that if you are in the mode for, I don't know, for more than a minute and you press the button, it turns off. So why do I need to cycle through all the modes? The second one, pretty much the same thing. So bad clip, bottle opener, a spike to, I don't know, break windows. It has a couple of bits here that is you can remove, and then you can put the bit in here, and then you can use it as a screwdriver. So this is softish plastic, so probably it's not going to last long, but again, if you are in an emergency and you have to do something small, I mean these are really small bits anyway, then yeah, you have it. It also has the charging port, which is a little bit more difficult to remove. Maybe I should do the other side. Yeah, so micro USB-C as well, and then a button. And this one has a battery indicator light. So it has a couple of modes. So this is cool white. Of course, it doesn't flicker to the naked eye. And there is a low intensity cool white, and there is warm, and then a low intensity warm, and then red, flashing red, and then it's off. But this one, if you leave it on a mode for, I don't know, some time, then you press it again, it actually turns off. So you don't have to cycle through all the modes. And then if you hold it for long enough, then it goes into some sort of emergency mode, which is like it's lighting up all the white and the warm white LEDs. So it's like super, super bright. But even the standard modes for both of these are so bright that it's actually painful to watch, to look into the light. So, and I think they have like a 500 milliamp hour battery, and they advertise 5 or 6 hours of use, depending on the modes they select. But to be honest, even if I get a couple of hours from this battery, I think it's good. So these are the two lights. And oops, that was too quick. So the next one is a micro SD card, and I can never tell. So this one is it says Lexar 32 gig. I can never tell which one is fake from the listing and which one is genuine, so I just tend to go for the ones which have a lot of sales. I tested it. It has, relatively good throughput. I think it was like 70 megabytes per second read and 30 megabytes write. Yeah, I'm going to use it in cameras. I always running out of SD cards. Probably I will not use it in a Raspberry Pi, where the data is more critical, but for something else I think it's going to be good enough. The next one is this Pendrive. I have one Pendrive and I just needed one more for backup in case I need to give files to someone or the kids need to take some files to school. It is really slow. So I again tested this one, and the throughput was like 3 megabytes read and 7 megabytes, 3 megabytes write, 7 megabytes read. But again, it works. It's probably not going to last for many ages, and I'm probably not going to use it for important backup, but when I need to transfer files between computers. So, and again, for $199, I think it's okay. And the last one from these cheap ones was this food grinder. So it has blades, and then you put your onions and garlic, and then you have this pull handle, and then you crank it up and it's going to chop up your food. We have something similar which is much bigger, and if I only need to cut a few onions, then the bigger one, it just doesn't cut, because then it just gets lost in the big container. So I think it's going to work for smaller portions. Yeah, it's not really the best quality. Well, definitely not the best quality. You can see, the molding indents here, and there are some rough edges, but yeah, for occasional use, I think it's fine. So that was all these 3 for $199 offers. Next one is this battery case, and I have a couple of 18650s from my really old laptop which died many years ago, and I was thinking that I'm going to use these for projects, but I never did. So I thought I'm going to buy a battery case, at least I'm going to use them for power bank. And I purchased this model because it has a display of how much the state of charge, and it has a couple of ports like USB-C and USB-A and micro USB and a lamp as well. And I think this is defective. So I can put the batteries in and it seems to be working fine. But then if I charge it up, if I connect the USB-C, it doesn't really charge the batteries. It charges at 1 or 2 watts, so it really is not picking up any charge. The USB output only works for a couple of seconds and it shuts off. And even though it says that I have 92% state of charge, so I really don't know what's the issue with these. These are definitely not really good batteries, but they are not that bad either. So all I can think that this unit is defective because it has been sold like, thousands of units in various sellers. So I don't think that the product itself is bad. I think it's just the one that I've received. But I created a dispute on Aliexpress and they refunded me the full amount for this one, and interestingly the listing has been discontinued. So maybe I wasn't the only one who had quality issues and they just decided to remove the product from the store that I bought it from. So I would probably not recommend buying this. And next we have a couple of electronic components. This one is a relay module, and I have something similar that I purchased many years ago from IC Station, but I think that model is no longer available. So I purchased something similar, and this is a module which has zillions of different programs that you can program here, sort of like on timers, off timers, cycle timers, and that sort of stuff. So I'm planning to use this to build a charging station for various things in the garage, like power tools and power tool batteries, because I can program this one to be on for, let's say, several hours, how long it takes to charge the batteries, and then it's going to power itself off. So I want to completely cut power to the chargers so they don't, consume those small amounts of currents while they are being plugged in. So that's for a project which is coming up. And then for another project which is also coming up is this one. So this is a strain gauge to measure weights. So you can see it says here 1 kilogram. So from this seller you can buy a couple of different versions for, I think, 1, 2, 5 and 10 kilogram strain gauges. And then obviously you have to prop it up. You can see the line, so the arrow here, how you should apply the pressure, and it's going to measure the pressure. And there is a small circuit board with it, HX711 if I remember correctly, and this is supported by Arduino, and actually it is also supported by ESP Home. So this project is going to end up being an ESP Home project where this is going to measure weight, and it's I'm planning to measure the weight of a water bottle, and so I can measure how much water I drink when I'm working from home. Because I have a lot of headaches, and of course what the doctor says always, the first thing they said is probably you're not drinking enough water. So now I'm going to measure it, and probably it's going to be an older thing, and then it's going to send me notification when I need to do drinking. And I've also bought these ring lights, which are for the same project. So of course there's going to be like a visual indication that, oh, maybe these are going to blink then when I need to drink some more water. And I bought 2 different sizes because I wasn't sure which one is going to be good, but I think I'm going to use this bigger one. And I've already started 3D printing some models. And these are WS2812s, so Neopixel rings. And again, ESP Home supports it. The ESP826 can drive this, and also the strain gauge. So that's how I'm going to build the project. So these 2 are for those projects. And I got a couple of spares. So I bought 2 strain gauges and a couple of these light rings. So they are nice. I'm looking forward to this. And finally, I want to show you this Baesus GAN 3 power brick, and this can deliver 100 watts across these ports. So it has two USB-C and two USB-A, and I'm going to use this as my main charger for my laptop and also my accessories when I'm traveling, because up until now I was traveling with a laptop charger which is probably like twice as big, and also I have a 3-port USB charger which is similar size as this one, but now I can do everything with this smaller brick, and it comes with a European plug, well, this particular model, which, I mean, actually I like this one better, because in some cases, let's say in hotels, the power plug is maybe not in the most convenient place, so you can just plug this in, you know, maybe at the floor. You can bring it up to a nightstand or a table and then charge the devices here instead of the, you know, the wires dangling on the floor. So I think it's quite nice. So my laptop can charge 65 watts on the USB-C, so this can charge my laptop and charge my phone, you know, GoPro, whatever it needs. And Baesus has a 65 watt version, but I decided to go for a 100 watt version. And also, probably one small quirk with this unit is that whenever you are charging devices in, then for a small amount of time it disconnects the devices, most probably to redistribute the power between these ports. Obviously, it will not deliver, you know, 100 watts in each port. It's going to be 100 watts in total. So it always balances the power once you start connecting more devices. So if you are using it for a device which doesn't have a built-in battery, you might notice that, you know, it will cut power for about a second when you are plugging a second or third device in. I guess that's just how it works. I don't think this is a defect. So yeah, nice power supply. And actually this one came with a USB-C cable, USB-C to USB-C cable, but I also wanted another USB-C cable which has a built-in display. So these, well, actually now you can find so many different manufacturers doing this, and I wanted to buy one from Baesus, but it was so expensive that I decided to buy a, well, different brand, which is Essager. I don't know how it's pronounced, but let me plug this in. Okay, so now it is plugged in and it doesn't show anything, but as soon as you connect something, then it's going to show that it is charging at, and you just have to wait a little. So it's 0 watts PD. Oh, my phone is nearly full. Okay, so 6, 8, 10, okay, 9. So it settles at 9 or 10 watts. It's a really thin display. The letters are thin, and the display is a bit faint, but well, I can easily read it, so that's not a problem. And of course, if I would use it in a nightstand in the evening, I don't want an awful lot of you know, light pollution anyway. So it's a perfectly readable screen. Probably it's not going to come through on the camera now, but I'm really happy with it. And again, it's good for occasional testing of, you know, devices, how much power they draw. And it's also, well, this is the first time I'm using something USB-C, and I haven't seen my phone saying that it's doing super fast charging, because all my previous charger were like just normal fast chargers. But now this Baesus, and with this USB-C cable, I can just juice it up like, I don't know, like 15 or 20 minutes to get from 0 to 80 or something ridiculous. So it's really fast. So I think that will be all. If you are interested in any of these products, you will find the Aliexpress links in the video description. But that will be all for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.